Hey guys, welcome to another Anime Kingdom discussion review. This one is on Akame Got Kill episode 6, and just, oh my gosh, this episode was just, oh man. Trip on the feels train, guys. Warning, it's a feels. It's a ride on the feels train, that's for sure. So the episode starts off with Tatsumi and Leone in the red light district of the capital. And then Leone transforms, into her lion thingy and picks up Tatsumi and says, "Let's sneak in and kill them." And she just zoom rushes across, jumping on the buildings. Of course, you hear Tatsumi screaming out, "What?" The usual. Then they get in, but they don't really sneak in. She just runs in, dashes in, and she right past the guard, and the guy's like, "Huh?" So dumb. But yeah, after that, they're like, I guess in the attic or something. They look inside and they see a whole bunch of girls, and they're all pretty much like really high on drugs. And then these two guys walk in, and it turns out, I'm guessing, it's like a drug operation and kind of thing. And they're, I guess, prostitution obviously too. And they're using the girls. They pay the girls, with drugs. And one of them is like really out of it, and the guy's like, "Oh, looks like we gotta get rid of this one." And she tries to go, "Please give me more drugs," to one of the guys, and he just like punches the girl. And then you can see Leone get mad, and it turns out she knows that girl from the slums. And so after that, the two guys, I'm guessing they're pretty much the bosses with like a whole bunch of bodyguards, are in a room talking, and boom, Leone and Tatsumi jump in, and it's a pretty crazy fight. Tatsumi just cutting them all up, and Leone just kicking, punching, blasting them against the walls and stuff. And then one of the main guys takes out a gun, about to shoot, but then all of a sudden Tatsumi, where is he? Right below him, slashes him straight in half. There goes, his body. And Leone comes and grabs the other guy, starts, strangling him, choking him. And the guy's pretty much begging for his life, saying that he'll do anything, money, drugs, what do you want? And pretty much Leone says, the only thing she wants pretty much is to take his life. And then she just like, boom, like a super punch, and just, I guess, punches him in the gut, and I guess destroys all his organs with that punch or something, and just kills the guy. It's pretty crazy. After that, Tatsumi and Leone are walking back, and Tatsumi's kind of worried about all the girls, like, oh, what's gonna happen to them? But then Leone's like, there's a doctor she can talk to that she knows, and he can look after them. And and then Tatsumi's, as long as there's a tiny bit of hope exists, that's all that matters. And then Leone goes up to him, says, "I've thought this from the start," and then goes up to him, whispers in his ear, "But that expression you make really is cute," and then licks his ear, and Tatsumi blushes, starts walking backwards, like, "Ooh, what?" And Leone says that she's marking him literally. If he grows up to be a good-looking man, then she's his. She said, "You're mine," and I'm just like, wow. After that, we go to Sheila and Mine, and turns out, they also successfully finished their mission, and they're running back too. But then they're ambushed and attacked out of nowhere. And it turns out it's the girl from the last episode that helped Tatsumi, find his way around. Seryu, yes, Seryu, and it turned, she wants revenge on Night Raid, and she sees that she got a wanted poster that says, "Yep, that's Sheila." Mine's not on the posters yet, honestly. That's why they went in the town last time. But figuring that, she has an Imperial arm, that, and she's with her, she's also part of Night Raid. So she's going to start attacking them. So Mine decides to, attack first. The one who attacks first, gains the advantage, and like, fire shots. But all the shots are blocked by Seryu's Imperial arm, that weird dog thing. Turns out he becomes super gigantic big, and he just heals up all the bullet wounds. And then after that, the fight starts, and Siryu sends Koro to attack. To which Sheila just slashes its like part of its face, and it flies backward. But then she doesn't realize that it's still up, and it's right when it's about to attack her from behind. She's like, and mine just blasts her backward, and she's like, do you forget what you read about in the, I guess, the Imperial Arm Act, the thingy, um, organism based Imperial arms? It turns out that they have like this core in their bodies, and until you take out that core, it'll just continue to regenerate. So the core could be anywhere. So I'm just like, oh, geez. Process of elimination, I guess. Just gotta keep blasting until you finally, find a spot. And then Siryu tells Koro arms, and it just sprouts these really gross looking arms. Even mine's like, ugh, gross, and it's like, what the heck? And then it attacks them, and Shilei's like, stand behind me, mine. I'll block it. And she blocks all the attacks with her scissors, and it's just like I don't know how she's blocking just like this. Why it's only attacking that one spot, but and then all of a sudden, Siryu also whistles for backup, and considering that Imperial arms plus the backup coming, mine's like, I consider this a pinch, and then even stronger blast comes from her Imperial arm, because remember before, her Imperial arm, when the more the user is in a pinch, the stronger it is, but it still wasn't good enough. But then Chile comes out of the smoke and goes for Siryu, saying, if you take out the Imperial arms is just a tool. If you take out the user, the Imperial arms will stop. And then she uses one of her secret, not one, her secret move called Extase, and it just blinds. It's a blinding light from her scissors, but still Siryu is able to end up blocking the attack, and she just keeps attacking. But Sirius, she's not a pushover. She is strong. She's blocking them all. And then, Koro's like, starts to wants to, protect her and attack Shile. But of course, mine's not going to have that. And mine end up, being the distraction while Shile attacks Siryu. Shile continues to attack Siryu, and then Siryu trips backwards on a rock and loses one of her guns. And right when Shile slashes at her, she sacrifices her arms to stop a fatal blow. And then it seems Siryu has the body modification, and she has like a gun, like guns or gun, I forget, where her arm was, and just, and you just hear a shot, and then it's like like, oh my gosh, is Shile okay? And it turns out she just blocked it, and then slashes the gun off her arm, and more blood. And I guess for a last ditch, the last resort, Siri uses a last resort move, which makes Koro overheat, and he'll be immobile for a while after. But last resort, and it's called Berserker, and all of a sudden Koro turns it super red and like starts getting even bigger and scarier, and it's like, what the hell? And then it grabs mine, and then starts to squeeze her, and right before she's about to get crushed, Shile comes and saves her, cutting the arm off. But to be honest, like that time it took for her to get over there and slash the arm off, I remember she said before, if you take out the Imperial arm user, the Imperial arm will stop working. So she could just cut up, killed Siryu, but the show. But after that, after she cuts her arm, saves her, she gets shot, and it turns out Siryu also has, I guess, a body modification, a gun in her mouth. Like what the hell, really? Dang. And then it turned, I don't know, I'm guessing it has something like maybe like poison or paralyzed, something that paralyzed her, because Shile said she couldn't move, and all of a sudden, here comes Koro, bites her and tears her in half. I was just like, what? No way. Are you kidding me? Seriously? I was just flabbergasted, to be honest. And mine is really mad, starts to walk to Siryu to kill her, but she has a broken arm, but she's like, not even this will stop her. But all of a sudden she's surrounded by a whole bunch of the reinforcements that Siryu called for. And then all of a sudden Chile, it turns out she's still alive, and she uses Extase again to blind everyone, to give mine time to escape, even though Mine wants to stay for her. But she ends up leaving, and then we get that trip on the fields train, guys. It was really just sad moment. Sheila's like, she's like, oh, she was glad that she was useful in the end, and remembers all the good times that she had in Night Raid. And she says, she loved, like, I loved you, I loved all of you, and it was so much fun. And she starts to cry and remembers Tatsumi, and she holding him and says, my apologies, Tatsumi, I won't be able to hold you any longer. And then it just gets eaten and it's over. And it's just, I couldn't believe that happened. I was just like, what, really? I didn't expect anyone to die, not yet at least. But oh man, and it was a, oh. I was just really, it was just really crazy, to be honest. And after that, it shows Siriu, and she's just really an insane bitch, and like reaches her hands, arms up. Well, she has no arms, but goes up like that and says, you know, Daddy, I defeated one of the villains. The light of justice shone upon the world. It starts to laugh like crazily, and I'm just like, you crazy ass bitch. It just, oh man. After that, we're outside Night Raid's base, and it's in the rain, and I guess Mine told everyone what happened, and you can see all of their faces, sadness and anger, and just the rain just complements the scene and makes it like so sad. And just, oh, Tatsumi walks up to Mine, and he starts shaking her and says, asking her who did it. And the boss is like, wait, Tatsumi, what are you gonna do with that information? And Tatsumi says, isn't it obvious? Revenge. And the boss says, stop jumping, they can't jump in without a plan, it'll only increase the body count. To which Tatsumi gets even more mad and says, our friend was just killed now. And he says, I just can't sit here. And right when he's about to finish his sentence, he's punched by Bolato, saying that you're embarrassing yourself, Tatsumi. Don't lose control. Didn't we say anyone could die at any moment? You knew this when you agreed to join us. And he, like, you could tell that, Bolato, he wants to go out and get revenge. All of them do. They all feel the same way. Tatsumi, he really is. He's like, he's gotta, don't lose control. Can't just run in, without a plan. As sad as it is, And shows Mine crying, and she's, saying she's gonna be the one to take down Seiyu when it happens, Then the boss says that Shilei's death was not in vain. The Capitol should now understand, it takes Imperial arms to fight Imperial arms. So pretty much saying that the battle with Imperial arm users will increase more. So I'm guessing the next battles will be even more intense and crazy, I wonder just how much people will be dying, Then we see Tatsumi by Iyasu's and Sayo's graves. Obviously really sad, with the bangs covering his eyes, you can't see. And then we see like a ghost form, Shile putting her arms around him and then disappears, and he's like, huh? Really, really sad. And then puts his, hand into a fist, looks up into the air, into the sky, and that's when it ended. And after that, we get a little sneak peek. We see the Capitol, and we see S-Death, the ice user person that took out the North guys, on a dragon. Says, Capitol, I'm home. And that's the end. Oh man, this episode, I give it a 9 out of 10. It had really good action, and it really hit me in the feels. I took a ride on that feels train, and oh man, I'm still on it. I really did not expect Chile to die right there and then. I was so surprised, and oh man, this episode is really crazy. But yeah, this is a discussion, guys, so if you want, comment below what you thought. If you have any questions for me, put it down below too. And the feels train, guys, the feels train. But yeah, till next time, guys. See ya.